People like to brag about doing crosswords in ink. I do crosswords in pen. She does crosswords in pen. You've heard it, right? What does it mean when people say that? It's okay. Just put it in the chat. Or don't. Only if you want to. Because they're smarter than me. I couldn't do it. Okay, right? Doing it in ink is scarier than doing the 2 minutes with Grizzly. Okay, right. It's supposed to convey some kind of genius level intellect. But if your puzzle is full of those light little pen crossouts and letter write-overs that end up tearing holes in the newspaper, the truth is you just prefer pen to pencil. I don't blame you, especially if you prefer the awesomeness that is the Pilot G2, but you haven't earned the brag in its purest sense. Confidence is black Sharpie. I have lots of confidence. I hope you believe that because I'm in a situation where every gig job I had evaporated into thin air. Not because there was a worldwide disaster happening or anything. They just evaporated. So now I'm doing this weird little workshop where I share all the secrets on how to make a crossword puzzle so that you can go home and make them yourselves. I'm confident most of you will decide not to. You'll get your questions answered. I get so many questions about making crosswords. And then if you need a puzzle, maybe you'll hire me. Now, this will not be one of those interactive experiences where I call out people to embarrass them. Except those people are never really embarrassed, are they? They want to be up there sharing their deepest secrets or doing a dorky dad dance or whatever other vulnerable things they're asked to do or tell by a stranger, just for their 15 county fair level minutes. I've never been one of those people, so I wouldn't dare ask you to be one. What is it about sharing secrets with strangers? Why do people do that? Does anyone know? People love to yap about their lives. Have you been on Facebook lately? And okay, yeah, absolutely. My girlfriend tells all my secrets. Yikes. Okay. Anyway, I don't call people out. My boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, taught me that. If I'd like some input, I'll just ask you to drop it in the chat, like we just did. Deal? So, I am a crossword puzzle constructor, a cruciverbalist. People who knew that word already are so proud of themselves. I see you. I'm not pointing you out because I promised I wouldn't, but I see you. You wouldn't believe how many people tell me somebody who makes crossword puzzles is called a cruciverbalist. I just smile because I don't want to embarrass them. You know that ice-breaking game where you write down a unique thing about yourself that only you can say? Some people say things like, I'm a twin. And then you know they don't actually understand what unique means because they know at least one other person who can say the same, right? I'm a word person. So when I say unique, I mean it. I literally mean unique. Because when I say literally, I literally mean literally. So this is something that only you can say. Everybody's got one. Anybody care to share? I raise llamas. Haven't heard that one before. Okay. I have an extra pinky toe. Does that count? I would say so. Very unique. My favorite band is Still and Even. Okay. Yeah. Okay. See? We really are all special, not just the millennials. Here's mine. And I bring it up by way of credential, so you feel like you're getting your money's worth. I've had puzzles in all the major newspapers, including the New York Times. But so have a lot of people. Well, not a lot. Estimates are that maybe only 500 people make a living from puzzles. I, however, am the only person in the world who has made well over 500 crossword puzzles for Soap Opera Digest magazine. I still make one every week about soap operas. Love in the afternoon. My boyfriend and I loved Days of Our Lives. He hate watched mostly, but he was sucked in, I could tell. It's hard not to get sucked into a good story. You might have heard that soaps, the daytime kind, are in short supply. I guess nobody likes them anymore. No, Mom, that's not the reason. It's because everything's a freaking soap now. And cable can swear and have sex and violence and give you in an hour what took 10 hours in the old days. Months of OJ preemptions didn't help, but I'm from Buffalo, so let's not dwell on that. Women have jobs, and if they don't, they have cars. The world has changed. People are capital B busy, and they want everything faster. So soaps are on the outs. Like me and my boyfriend. He wanted things faster. And by faster, I mean one day he wanted sex, and there was a girl at work who was willing, and that was faster than waiting till he got home. That might be oversimplifying. Anyway, she's his new boo, and because of that, your session today is going to be way more interesting than the one I did in Ithaca last week. My boyfriend and I were together 3 years. That's a long time, you know, longer than I was ever with anyone, long enough to invest, to think it's going to last, takes you by surprise when it doesn't. I got him into puzzles right at the start. He'd never done one, but because we were new and he wanted to show interest in my interests, he did them. The motivation you have in that phase. I rock climbed in that phase, cheered for the Buffalo Bills, read John Steinbeck, researched rare coins, the things we do for lust. But the puzzles, they stuck. He loved them, which made me love him. We used to do puzzles together, taking turns filling in words until the whole thing's done. It's so romantic. For a while. Eventually, you just want your own. So you buy 2 papers or print 2 copies and have a black and white knuckle competition that you pretend really isn't a competition, but somehow the loser ends up cleaning the house that week. And that was mostly me because he's not dumb. I mean, he's dumb because he broke up with me, but not at puzzles. Which is why Esmeranda, it's some stupid shit name like that, thought it would be such a great idea to get the love of her life a custom crossword puzzle for his birthday. Are you way ahead of me on this? Yes, indeed. When she Googled this brilliant idea, she discovered there are people who actually do this. Well, like 2, me and another one. She picked the wrong one. But don't worry, if you hire me, there's a very little risk that I would also be your new boyfriend's ex. Maybe I should have told her no, but the last existing soap magazine can't last forever. I'm broke, and I'm dealing with an emotional crisis, so my judgment is impaired. And let's be honest, I couldn't resist. So here we are. This is going to be fun. Every puzzle starts with a square. Daily newspaper puzzles are 15 squares by 15 squares, and that's what we're going to make today. Not just because they're the most common, but because my boyfriend's new girlfriend is too cheap to buy the Sunday size, which is 21 by 21 squares. And just to get something clear, the Sunday New York Times is not the hardest puzzle of the week. Monday is the easiest, and they get progressively harder throughout the week until Saturday. If you want to brag about doing something in ink, Saturday's the one. Sunday is bigger, but only about Thursday level hard. Sunday is not the hardest. Ugh, I feel so good to get that off my chest. I should also point out that overall, the New York Times puzzles are easier than they used to be. Making things more accessible to attract more people isn't just for theater. I love theater. I miss it. So we start with a square, and already this puzzle is perfect for them because love is square. Now, hear me out. I had a cousin who got married, and the theme of their wedding was love is square. On everything, the matchbooks, the napkins, the coasters, it said love is square. I didn't get it because usually with weddings, you hear about the symbol of the ring, the never-ending circle of love. But this wedding, square. We all laughed, but now I get it because as far as shapes go, squares are as perfect as circles, but they're a better metaphor for relationships because squares are only smooth sailing until you hit a sharp corner that can poke you in the eye or cut you if you're not careful, which my cousin obviously wasn't because they got divorced pretty fast. Their square love poked them too many times, like mine and my boyfriend's. We were so circly at the beginning. He said I was everything he ever wanted, beautiful, smart, loving. And I sashayed on air right into the garden. But then, poke, 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 real love is square. And so are crossword puzzles. Perfect. You know what else is perfect? Esmeranda can't know who she hired, right? I mean, would you hire me if you knew? No way. Which means my boyfriend has not told her about me. Or at least not told her where he got his love of crossword puzzles, which means a little piece of him is still mine. That makes sense because before we met, my life felt just like doing a crossword puzzle where there's a corner I just can't fill. When that happens, you lightly write in some word just to try it, and it ends up being right. And then the whole thing fills in effortlessly. He was that word. I tried him in that empty corner, and everything fit. Every time we did a puzzle together, I felt that. He filled my corner. We were the perfect puzzle. I love double meanings. You know, if she doesn't know about puzzles or me. I have complete control in this situation. That's practically a superpower. Do I use it for good or evil? I can make a puzzle that will make him think of me, that will make him come back. Because if there's anything I can do, it's make a good puzzle. Esmeranda can't do that. Okay, step 1, fill in the grid. Now, so many people want to start giving me clues right away, but you can't make up clues until you know what words you're cluing. Not everything they want is going to fit, but I aim for 50% and explain that right up front, because some people have unrealistic expectations. I get it. Happily ever after is an unrealistic expectation, and I wish somebody had told me so right up front, as a service. Now, the most fun puzzles have themes. If you're going to have one, you need to know that first, because those are the longest entries and everything else goes around them. In the New York Times, Friday and Saturday are the hardest because the clues are killer, but also they don't have themes. That gives the constructor a lot of freedom to fill it with long and colorful stuff, because there's no mandatory theme letters getting in the way and limiting your options. You always want options, and options always exist, even when you think they don't. To start, I ask clients for a list of words and half the money up front. When we're done, they pay the other half and I deliver the grid. At any point in between, they can call it off. There have been times when I've wanted to call it off, but I do what I can to make it work. I want the customer to be happy. I want him to be happy. Esmeranda, too. Well, about the puzzle, at least. Names, nicknames, special memories, hobbies, hobby-related words, inside jokes, schools, friends, streets, towns, whatever they can think of, as long a list as they can make, because the more options I have, the better the puzzle will be. If they're game, we do it on the phone so I can help them think of more. Am I allowed to put sex words in the puzzle? Like there would be a rule for a puzzle she's paying for? I told her no. Complete control. She gives me stuff like my special angel cakes baby, which is not only disgusting, but is 23 letters, which means it wouldn't fit even if she were springing for a Sunday size, which she's not. It's not worth explaining all that, but it does give me hope that my plan could work. He might come back to me when he realizes she can't count to 15. Let's help things along with a byline, our own portmanteau couple name. By Rosamond Grant. He is gonna shit when he sees that. Maybe even bite his nails a little. He'll know I made it and he won't be able to say anything. It'll make him read every clue through my lens. This could really work. I could make a themeless personal puzzle, but themes are fun and gifts should be too. So I ask her about a theme. Just make it about us. Again, disgusting, but he will want fun and I want to give it to him. And if there's no theme, he'll make her feel like it's a lame gift. I want him back, but I don't want to make him angry with her. Plus, our name is on it, so it has to have standards. Clients usually don't know much about puzzles and themes, so I comb the list for ideas and suggest things that might connect with a hobby or travel or where they live. Once I did a theme that was all about the silly names of the Boston duck boats. Sometimes the theme is a message, like a wedding proposal. Not this time, thank God. We talked about getting married and having kids sometimes. He wasn't ready and didn't see any point if we were already living together. Marriage changes people, he said. Like into someone who can't just leave whenever he feels like it? I answered without thinking first. I really want kids. Speaking of answers, Esmeranda didn't have any about the theme. I just want him to like it. I recognized it, that desire to please, a brief mirror moment between us. Well, does he like anything in particular? Like he likes crosswords, so maybe other puzzle kinds of stuff like board games, game shows. I don't know. Fantasy sports, game shows. I don't know. Online orgs, game shows. I don't know. Escape rooms, Oh! He really likes game shows. Sometimes you lead a horse to water and have to sit on the horse's head and practically drown it before it'll drink. But she's right. He loves game shows. He probably held a private funeral for Regis Philbin. Somehow he can manage to endure all the fluff and patter just for the chance to answer those questions. I told him all the time he should go on a game show and make us rich. We even filled out applications, but then he'd get a question wrong and never send them in. It could be embarrassing, I guess. I told him nobody wins forever, not even Ken Jennings, but he doesn't like to be embarrassed. So, game shows it is. Now, coming up with themes is my favorite part. You can have all kinds of clever fun with words, the kind that means computers still can't do this job. When you do a puzzle, you're making a human connection. Like this puzzle will hopefully connect us. The human need is also why the New York Times pays $500 for a daily puzzle and $3,000 for a Sunday. There are other places to get good puzzles. The Wall Street Journal is awesome and free. Mike Shank doesn't have the household reputation that Will Shortz does, but if you like puzzles, check it out. Game shows have fun names. So I could clue something like headline during the writer's strike, and the answer could be Hollywood squares off. Get it? That's extra fun because the squares the noun becomes squares the verb, but it's also the name of a game show. Never mind, I'm geeking out. And I can't use that anyway because it's 19 letters and she only paid for the 15 by 15, but that would have been fun. Oh, villainous trick on Batman. I'll give you a second. The Joker's Wild Goose Chase. Oh, but that's 23 letters. That would take an extra big puzzle. And if my special angel cakes baby isn't reason enough to spring for the big puzzle, this definitely is not. No go. I like it, but when something doesn't work, you have to move on. I'm trying. I'm trying to move on. It's been 6 months. I'm doing all this stuff. Maybe I didn't delete all his social media and even stalk her a little bit, but I swear I'm doing everything else. It's just hard. Where was I? Game shows. Does he like Family Feud? I think so. I cheated there because I know he does. I think it's because there's no pressure to go on that show because he can't be a family of 5 all by himself. And if he did take along 4 people, heaven help them if they gave a stupid answer. Are you a fucking idiot? He says that a lot during Family Feud. It's scary, but I tell myself he's not talking to me. I hope she's not thinking of going on Family Feud with him. But as a theme, I can work with that because not only is Family Feud still on the air, but the top answers can be personal. For this custom stuff, it's best if you can combine personal with a theme. So let's say that the puzzle is called, and the survey says. Good. I'll clue things like the top answer on the board to best place to go on a date. And the answer can be drive-in movie. That was our best place for many very good, very hot reasons. And I girded myself for those little knife jabs if she told me theirs was the same. She didn't. At first, she said, I don't know. Well, where do you like to go on dates? The antique show? Okay, 11 letters. That's good. But we've never actually been together. Okay, well, where else do you like to go? Hiking by the river. Okay, but we've never been there together either. Anywhere. Trivia night, a football game, the video arcade. Maybe I was just imagining that she didn't seem as excited about any of those things as she did about the antique show they never went to. But maybe she was thinking, this is his puzzle, so they should be his favorite things. My dream date is going to New York City to see a Broadway show, but we never did that either, so I wouldn't put it in a puzzle for him. That makes sense. I'm sure that's it. Let's go with football game. If for no other reason, then it's the same number of letters as drive-in movie. And maybe he'll even put that in without even thinking about it. Puzzles can trick you that way. Like the clue could be black Halloween animal and you put bat, but the answer is really cat. Now that B screws you up for a minute. Now bat is in your head. So if he thinks drive-in movie, we're in. Anyway, that's the first theme answer. And theme answers, because they're the longest, have to go in first. I saw them on a date once, getting ice cream. I'm at a gas station and I look across the street and there they are, sitting at a picnic table. She's wearing this cute little yellow sundress. You have to admire her for that because not a lot of people look good in yellow, which is so unfair because yellow is such a happy color. She looked really pretty in it. And she has an ice cream cone, and so does he. But she never licks hers, not even when it starts dripping onto her hand. And it's because he's talking with his serious pay attention face. Like maybe because the kid behind the ice cream counter was staring because she's showing too much cleavage, or too many scoops will make her fat, or his mother is expecting them for dinner. She's ruining her appetite. Who knows? The point is, nobody should look sad wearing a really cute yellow sundress with an ice cream cone in her hand. That's probably why she didn't pick ice cream stand for favorite date. All right, now at the end of every answer, you have to put in a black square. Now, in this case, I'm not going to leave these two open because that would leave us with a 2-letter word. And 2-letter words are not allowed, not in real puzzles. If you ever see a puzzle with a 2-letter word and it's not intentionally part of some unorthodox construction, that's not a professional job. Standards. I'm a professional, even if I have an agenda. Now, I also have to observe rotational symmetry. There are some complex mathematical ways to explain this, but I'm not a complex mathematical person. The simplest way to explain is, if he cheated on me, he's probably going to cheat on her. It looks the same in any position, like a propeller or an octagon. What goes around, comes around. Crosswords get diagonal rotational symmetry, which is a little more specific. So if I put 3 yins here, I have to put 3 yangs right here. Good. So that if I were to turn the grid around, it would look exactly the same. What goes around, comes around. But only if I turn it 180 degrees. And that's about as mathematically complicated as I want to get with a word puzzle. And the survey says, top answer on the board for, I give her options, which isn't helpful. Favorites are subjective, and I get why she doesn't want to be wrong about any of them. Somebody's favorite one day might not be their favorite the next. I swear I wasn't going for the metaphor there, but as long as we've waded into that muck, I will say that somebody who loves new flavors as much as he does should probably be a little happier at an ice cream stand. When we get back together, I will never give him a reason to make that serious pay attention face at an ice cream stand. Anyway, she's almost crying over the pressure to come up with some mythical right answers. So I suggest she just stick to basics, like where does he get coffee every morning? Tim Hortons. And the survey says, top answer for best place to get coffee. If you don't know what Tim Hortons is, it's basically like Dunkin' Donuts, but with a cult following. And 10 letters. When somebody stops there every single day before work, it's hard to argue that it's not the top answer. Finding ways to avoid arguing is never a bad thing. That's what I told her. Now, remember what I said about not having 2-letter words? That means these have to get filled in too. Good. Okay, and rotational symmetry. Every square gets an equal and opposite square. It's practically Newton's law. The only exception is the middle square, which has no equal and opposite. That could be him. When he has an action, there's no equal and opposite reaction. He overreacts, I don't overreact back. He cheats, I don't cheat back. Okay, so I don't think I'll make a center square. Now you can see now that I have these 2 other long answers that need to be filled in right here and here. And they need to be the same lengths as the 2 we just did. One 10-letter and one 12-letter. Top answers to favorite football team. Buffalo Bills is 12 letters, but then that's 2 football things, and that offends my sensibilities. Plus, we had a bad fight at a tailgate party with his work friends when I beat him at a game of beer pong. I shouldn't have embarrassed him. You can bet I got white roses later, though. My favorite. He's sweet like that. But top answer to best mixed drink. He doesn't drink hard stuff much. I admire that. But when he does, I've never seen him order anything but a rum and Coke. In fact, once at a bar, they were out of Coke and the bartender made a rum and Pepsi. The bartender didn't even tell me, just made the substitution because maybe he thought a drunk person wouldn't know the difference. He knew the difference. This is Pepsi. It is? I don't drink Pepsi. I know that because, of course, I know that. So you let him give me Pepsi. I didn't know it was Pepsi. Do you think I'm stupid? You obviously made him think I wouldn't know the difference between Coke and Pepsi because you don't like to upset people. That's a problem you have. I didn't think that's what happened, but maybe it was. So I was like, are you kidding? Nobody knows how not okay it is to substitute Coke for Pepsi. That effing bartender. And I marched right up there and I demand his money back. He was really proud of me. Oh, another one for my big game show theme. Polite interest at times. The dating game phase. That's a good one. Where was I? Rum and coke. Now, that's 10 letters. More leading the horse to water and drowning it. Is it okay to put alcohol in the puzzle? It's your puzzle. And my special angel cakes baby really won't fit? No, it won't. Oh, Esmeranda. Okay, so rum and coke. Good. Now, we have one more, and it has to be 12 letters because it has to fit here. In a 15 by 15, 4 solid theme answers is perfect because once those answers are in, you're forced to work around those letters. Now, those constrictions can force you to use all kinds of small, puzzle-friendly words and abbreviations that we in the biz call crosswordese. These are actually words that I would not know if they weren't crosswordese. Who here has never done a crossword? Never done one. That's why I joined tonight, ready to learn. Excellent. So this is a win-win because remember, I don't embarrass people. Oh, I don't give up halfway through Tuesday. Right. So like I said, I don't embarrass people. And I also don't actually expect you to know the answer. Do you know what an ort is? Oof, cookie, like those little chocolate balls with the pepper sprinkles on top for Christmas? I already miss Christmas. Same. But nope, that's not quite right. Anybody else? See, this is why you should do crossword puzzles. Everybody should know a useless 3-letter word for leftover. Hey, baby, we got any of those Chinese orcs left in the fridge? Oh, God, he says stuff like that for fun. He's so funny. Unless there aren't actually any orcs left. I'm a leftover, but I'm not going to put my name in the puzzle. How about Oda? Oda? You lost me. Okay. Harem room. Sometimes Oda May from Ghost, but mostly harem room. What does that even mean? Is it one room that's for a harem or one of many rooms in a harem? How many rooms do harems have? You don't even need to know. You just need to know harem room Oda. These are not rooms we use in everyday life. Maybe he would have liked an Oda in our house. An addition. Let's get a home equity loan to add an Oda. It goes on and on. There's a whole website devoted to it. YSL is Yves Saint Laurent. Mab is Fairy Queen. Asta, Eli, Esau, Epps, Eno, Esso, Smee, Nihai, Arlo, Ewer, Olio, Aaron, Euro, and don't forget Roman numerals and compass directions, and not like east and west, but east, north, east is ENE, which is a little too map esoteric for me. Chicago from Denver is just up, but in a crossword, it's ENE. They're all just quirky little words we accept in the crossworld because we need them to hold the puzzle together, like glue. We accept quirks because if we don't, nothing works. Leaving wet towels on the bed, biting nails, making someone change their clothes 6 times because he doesn't like them. Just quirks, you know? I wonder what Esmeranda's quirks are. Maybe she leaves the dish sponge in the sink until it reeks, says myself when she should say me, won't have sex on Mondays. Maybe that ice cream day they were talking about one of them. Where was I? We still need one theme answer. That has to be 12 letters. How about the survey says top answer on the board for best breakfast? Eggs Benedict. That's his favorite, but I didn't make it at home anymore. I once had to remake it 3 times because I kept getting distracted seeing how many words I could make out of the letters in farm fresh eggs and let the eggs go too long. I stuck the overcooked ones at the bottom of the garbage because if he knew, he'd say I'm spacey, which I probably am. I don't know. I do know that poached eggs have to be perfect. If they're not, it's better if it's the restaurant's fault. Does he like Eggs Benedict? That's 12 letters. No. He's never ordered them at a restaurant? No. Are you sure? No. He reads a lot. Okay. Of Mice and Men? That's his favorite. He has no patience for the Georges of the world. He must have gotten her to read it. The Things We Do for Lust. And 12. By George, I think she's got it. Top answer on the board, too. Mice and Men. Good. All right. Okay. Those are a few of his favorite things. The neat thing is that if I use different clues, it's a different story. A football game doesn't have to be top answer for a date. It can be Friday Night Lights event. Who doesn't love Friday Night Lights? Of Mice and Men can just be high school reading classic. Tim Hortons is home of the Roll Up the Rim contest, and Rum and Coke is Commonwealth drink. See, clues are how you narrate the puzzle. You create the story. There's power in that. But it's not clue time yet. First, we have to fill the rest of the grid using as many of the words as she gave us as possible. This is where a personal puzzle is almost better than one in the paper because you get the theme and then you also get all the bonus content. Personal puzzles are also better because they're a guaranteed sale. You don't have to go through the work of making the whole puzzle and writing all the clues and waiting months and months only to have Will Short's assistant say, it didn't excite him enough. That's the standard reply. It didn't excite him enough. I hope this puzzle excites him. Rejection sucks. And now that the theme words are in, I can go ahead and fill in more black squares. It would be impossible to fill in the grid otherwise. So I'm just kind of feeling my way here, looking at the words that we already have and filling in to give myself the best possible chance to fill in the words around them. So, you could always just take a standard grid from the paper and fill it with your own words, or you can buy some software and download your own grid. But if you're making your own grid, you have to remember 3 very important things. Number 1, if you're sending this out for publication, you can't just keep filling in black squares until it works. Too many black squares means too many short words. Now, in a New York Times 15 by 15, the total number of words allowed is 78, which is exactly what we have. Good. Number 2, like I said before, no 2-letter words. And number 3, every letter has to be part of both an across and a down word. So like if I put a black box here, that's going to leave us with what's called an unch. Now, don't go looking that up in the Urban Dictionary. I don't know why it's called that, but in crosswords, there is no such thing as a free unch. Okay. Now, that should work. Let's see. Yeah, looks good. Okay, we'll see. You never really know until you jump in and give something a lot of time and energy if it will work, do you? I'm talking about puzzles here, but I do love double meanings. Now, I start with the longer words so that the most options are still available. No other longer word should be longer than a theme answer because it causes confusion. My own rule is that all the longest words are personal. Nobody wants to discover that the longest word is something like Saracens. I did that once in an early soap puzzle. I thought if it was a word, I could use it. I had to learn to do better, to do the right thing instead of the easy thing. Standards. Now, when the longer words cross the theme answers, you're up against those constrictions I talked about earlier. Like I could put a black box here and make this 2 shorter words, but that would put me over 78 words total. Now, this isn't for publication, so I could cheat. Ha ha. But 2 short words are never as interesting as 1 long fun one. Making puzzles would be a snap if you could just put in black squares willy-nilly. But black squares are like excuses that say, I can't do this, or it's too hard. Put in too many and you have a lot of excuses and not much worthwhile going on around them. So no easy way out. Take a look at a Friday or Saturday and see how much white space there is. Constructors take pride in using as few black squares as possible. And when you see one of those wide open beauties, it's a thing of elegance, but it's hard to do. Oh my God. Getting rid of excuses is hard, but it makes things better. Puzzles are deep, y'all. Oh, okay, I've never said y'all before, and I don't think I'm going to do it ever again. But still, getting rid of excuses. Think about that. Okay, so using this O, let's look at her list here. She has YouTube. Yeah, he loves YouTube, but that doesn't fit. But if clued as how to watch foreign game shows, that fits our theme, even and on YouTube, and it fits. Great. Some of those foreign game shows are weird. There's this Japanese one where they have guys try to sing while, well, I know I said fuck before, but this is a family event. He liked it, even though there were no questions. It's called Sing What Happens. Look it up, unless you're under 18. Now, the equal and opposite spot is this long one. She's got lots of 9-letter words like word lover, but it's this M right here. We can go, oh, word smith. Perfect, that's close enough. And any puzzler would love to be called a wordsmith. From here, I work symmetrically from the outside in, because if I need to change something in one corner, rotational symmetry, it's going to get changed in the other. Every section in a crossword is called a corner, whether it's actually in a corner or not. So this side section here, they're still called a corner. These top and bottom middle sections, corners. Part of what looks like a smooth ride is still a corner, hidden sharp edges to poke. I like to start with a corner that looks like it will be the trickiest. In this case, that's the one most constricted by the words I already put in. That looks like here. Okay, so if we go longest first, that's going to be here or here. But here we've got the C and the K, so that's a better place to figure out first. A C in any position but the first can be a real pain. And K is actually a really cool letter, but presents more problems than you think. A K also gets you one step closer to making a pangram, which is a puzzle that uses all the letters of the alphabet and that nobody really cares about unless people make puzzles. It's just a little quality thing, like a 24-karat stamp on gold. Elegance. Honestly, when those letters are in an answer, it makes it just a little bit easier to solve. More colorful, but easier. There are some puzzles that constructors seem to make more for each other than for other solvers. I can appreciate them and say, what a feat of construction, wow. And solvers are scratching their heads saying, that was a long way to go for appearances. But keeping up appearances is a human thing, isn't it? Just look at Facebook. Nothing but happy pictures. Oh, look, he got me white roses again. I'm guilty, aren't you? You don't have to answer that, I promised. All right, this K is going to need a vowel underneath it. And since E is the most common vowel, you Wheel of Fortune lovers already knew that. Let's stick that in. Now, we're going to try cop right here because his brother is a cop, and that's on the list. We can do pens here and clue it as puzzle needs because, yep, he does them in pen and brags about it. I know better than to point out that he shouldn't. Then 1D, that was our first apartment. Well, his before he bought the house. I moved to his place because mine was farther from his work, but she never lived in it. So that's another remember me point in my favor. Oh, I'm going to be all over this puzzle. All right, I could go in one here, like hole in one, but we already have 1D, and duplication like that isn't elegant. Elegance and appearances, see? But I could do I done, like what have I, and then I can put like in here, which frees me up for emails, which I can clue as Hillary's downfall. He will eat that shit up. Oh, man, okay. Now, I'm not going to explain every word here because that would take way too long. But if you have any questions, feel free to see me after. All right. Now, this equal and opposite corner has the T and the M, which should be easier than C and K. That middle T just makes me think bitch. That word would never fly in a real puzzle because of something we like to call the breakfast test. That means anything that might elicit even the least unpleasant or uncomfortable feeling is a no-no. Long, long ago, before Will Shortz created the first degree in enigmatology, he really did that, the original editor of the New York Times crossword, Margaret Farrar, liked to say, good news, only good news, because crosswords are an escape, and you don't want words like coronavirus or colonoscopy in your escape. So no Cancer, not even as a zodiac sign, no mucus, no urine, no semen. Once Will Shortz allowed scumbag to go through because he didn't actually know what it meant, that was a scandal in the puzzle world. We still talk about it. But this is a custom puzzle for my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend. So I think bitch is perfect. We can clue it as the female dog, but it'll be my little Easter egg. You know what? Thank you. Oh, this is healing. Just spending time with this ritual and having it be... I couldn't do crossword puzzles when he left. I love them so much, and I shared them with him, and he They were mine, and he stole that joy from me. The memories were so hard that I did logic puzzles. But then I started trying to logic out what happened, and I couldn't do that. So I started doing word searches. That's how bad it got. Ah, this feels really good. Okay, all these consonants here need some vowels. So let's go with Alito, which is his favorite justice, and another double meaning because it is his favorite justice, but it's also mine because of the alternating vowel consonant pattern starting with a vowel. Alamo, aroma, Obama. Oh, you have no idea the bipartisan welcome Obama got in the puzzle world. All right. Oh, remow. Oh, it's a terrible word, but it works for us. He hates when I hired a lawn guy. I'll do it. I can mow my own lawn. But then he never does until the lawn guy comes. And then he remows it and is like, see, I don't know why you hire that lawn guy. Okay. Oh, bear. Any kind of sexy clue like that will do. How-tos are another YouTube thing, so I can cross clue. CTO. Every gaming company has a CTO. And ETH, ordinal suffix. Bang. All right, move down here. Devo. He loves whip it. All right, now, with each choice you make, your options become less, and sometimes you get stuck with a stubborn thing that you don't love. I definitely don't love Adolf, but I don't want to start over. So if we clue it as unpopular baby name, we can get away with it. Don't tell Will Shorts. Okay, I win. A gamer's favorite words. I see. We can clue that in as ways to avoid an argument. Okay, always good advice. News is great because it's generic. You would be surprised at, how you can personalize the most random word. Like brew, it's generic, but for him, a micro is better than a rum and coke. All right. Good. Okay. Now, this middle looks pretty good. Right away, I can see we fit Carol. That's his sister's name. And naked. Naked is always good. And right here, Doris. That is his mom's name. She's the best. She called me after he left to see how I was doing. She said it might not feel like it now, but I'm going to be okay, and she wants me to be happy. Isn't that nice? It's the kind of thing my mom would say if she were still here. All right. Onion breath. He hates onion breath. He will know that that was my doing. But more of me is what this is all about. When I get a puzzle in the paper, my friends will say, here's a clue where I really felt like you were winking at me. And maybe it's because I clue something like chocolate or buffalo or theater. So it's from her, but it'll feel like it's from me. Trades is massage exchange. So me. Eat at can be frequent Rosario's, our favorite restaurant. Stud is you, baby, of course. And hopefully he will know that that's me talking and not Esmeranda. All right, good. Now, let's see. Okay, shit. Now, see, I left myself kind of a bad spot with this SM with the R in the middle. I could use some crappy word like purism or lyrism, but I don't feel good about that for a 6-letter entry. So I'm going to stick an extra black box here. When you stick in a black box to make things easier, but which doesn't increase the word count, it's called a cheater. It really is. I'm just going to call it another Easter egg. Now, let's not forget about the equal and opposite cheater. He says she was the first one. If she wasn't, he would have left me long before he did. That's what he says. He understands that I have anxiety about people leaving, but that doesn't mean every time he's ever late, he's with someone else. And I'm crazy if I think he's that kind of guy. I guess that makes sense, right? I have an overactive imagination, but he was patient when I assumed the worst. Nobody else has had that patience with me. It's hard because he works with her. They have a valid reason to see each other every day to communicate. If he answers a text, it's work. If he's late, it's work. But if he says he'll be home at 8 and he isn't home, I worry. But then he says, I never said I'd be home at 8 tonight. Don't worry. Trust me. Trust me. That was last week. And if you remember, I was home at 8 last week. And then I think maybe it was last week. Maybe I am crazy. I'm spacey sometimes. Who can remember? It's not worth starting a fight over. So if I'm not totally sure, right? Where was I? Cheaters. Now that, we have an easier path. Let's try Prism here, because then I can put Paltz, which is not only new school because he went to New Paltz, but it also uses that Z, which is a sexy letter. Now, I've let the Pangram dream go because there's not going to be a Q, a J, or an X, but that's okay. Dreams die, and making this puzzle proves it. All right, I could do on, off here like a switch. People can be like that too. One person at home, another at work. Loving 1 minute, angry the next. Yeah. Aloe is always good crosswordies. Camo and cat, suffragette. And the rest takes care of itself. Ordinarily, this takes a lot more trial and error than you're seeing here. The worst is when you get trapped and no matter how hard you try, you can't fill it, even with a cheater. You leave for a few days and go to your dad's and come back, but you still can't. You try to convince yourself you can live with some completely obscure abbreviation or menstrual or a 5-letter Roman numeral. Options so bad they can't even lovingly be called crosswordese. You hate to give up, and those corner traps can get you. They're a time suck because you think if you can just keep trying, it's going to work. So you try again and again and again. But not today. Today is a working. I'm getting excited for him to do this. He told me never to call him again, but I'll feel like we're communicating and maybe talking like this through something we both love. You never know. I'm such a romantic. Okay, last corner, then clues. And I don't mean the kind you should look for if you think your man is stepping out on you. That's another workshop entirely. One that I'm just as good at, but isn't nearly as fun. Let's see. Okay, Amos. Amos, I could clue that as John Amos or Amos and Andy, but I want him to think of me. So famous Amos cookies are the best. We couldn't keep them in the house, by which I mean he hides them in the garage, so I can't find them. Couldn't find them. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have turned that off. It's her. It's Esmeranda. Oh, how cool. You're going to get to see some client interaction, like a bonus. Esmeranda. It's not? Oh, well, have you ever considered Esmeranda? Anyhow, the puzzle is coming great. I fit in so much shit. On YouTube, wordsmith emails, naked. Yeah, he's going to look. You what? How do you know who I... Oh, wow. No, nothing is a silly question. No, he's not. No, I swear he's not. Did you hear him right? If he said he was going to be home at 8 o'clock, he will be. Are you sure you got the time right? Maybe that was last week and he said he'd be home at 8 o'clock. It's hard to be sure. No, I'm in the middle of a puzzle workshop, making your puzzle. No, I 100% swear to you. And I guess I would still 100% swear even if he were here. And I could 200% swear, which I'd also do if he were here. And I could 300% swear to you. But I just, at some point, you're just going to have to trust me. Hey, no, don't. It's going to be okay. It is. He's going to walk in at any minute. No. I wouldn't say that if he does. Don't. It's not worth starting a fight over. Do you still want the puzzle? Oh, good. It's going to be great. And it's going to be okay. Trust me. You probably just got mixed up, okay? Trust me. Sorry about that. Where were we? Amos. One time at an airport, I ate 8 bags, just the snack size, while I waited for my plane. That's not as bad as it sounds. She knows who I am. Of course she does. Where was I? Because there's only like 7 cookies in one of those bags. He was probably bragging. Like my ex makes crossword puzzles. 7, 8 cookies if you hit the jackpot. And they're so small. She still wants the puzzle though. So, I guess it's fine, but why? Just like pop that little thing and it's gone. So even like 8 bags is just not that big of a deal. Gotta tell you something. It was 9 bags at the bus station, not the airport. I keep going up to the desk to get change, which is a little embarrassing, but when your bus is delayed, you get a free pass. Even though 9 bags isn't that big of a deal when your bus is late, or even at home. They just go so fast, you don't even realize they're gone. You just can't really help it. Oh, I just thought of another one, and it's a bonus level good because it uses 2 game shows. Reason for coming clean? To tell the truth or consequences. Oh, isn't that amazing? I know, it's 28 letters, but maybe someday I'll make a huge puzzle and it'll be full of entries that will excite Will Shortz beyond his wildest imagination. Dream big, right? She was sure that he said 8 o'clock, but maybe that was, I don't know, sometimes I thought I was sure, but it wasn't worth starting a fight over. After a while, I was never really sure anymore. Maybe she really was sure, and I just sounded like... She did still say that she wants the puzzle, so... My bus wasn't delayed. I didn't even have a ticket. I thought about buying one, though. I really did. I was going to get on a bus and go somewhere far away. I just didn't know what I would do when I got to the other end of the ticket. So every time I go up to get change, the girl behind the window stares at me and asks if I'm going to buy a ticket. And I have to pretend I'm waiting for some phone call to tell me where to go. Like someone else had to tell me, like there's a magic voice that could do that. She gives me the change, like it pains her to look at me, and I get my cookies. One of the bags had 9 cookies in it. Felt like I hit the jackpot, except have a bad morning? Beat the clock radio. I'm so going to use that game show theme one day. So the police show up. I guess the girl behind the window didn't believe my phone call story. It's been nearly 3 hours now. It didn't seem that long, but I guess loiterers aren't welcome at the bus station. Do you have somewhere you can go? It was a nice woman officer. She speaks so kindly. I can call someone for you. Oh, I'm fine. I thought I was going to leave, but I guess I'll just go home. Is that a good idea? Oh, yeah, my car's right outside. I mean, in your condition. What? Oh, no, I'm not pregnant. Just a little cookie bloated maybe, but I that's all. Miss, have I what? Seen your... Come with me. Are you arresting me for not buying a ticket? She shakes her head and leads me into the bathroom to the mirror. I see my face. I see why the ticket girl kept staring at me. Is there someone I can call for you? No. I think I'll just go home. But your face, it's okay. I shouldn't have eaten all those cookies. I'm sorry. He hid them and I still found them. I shouldn't have eaten them. This is not a good story to get sucked into. This story definitely does not pass the breakfast test. So when I said that he said not to talk to him anymore, I mean, they saw my face and made me get a restraining order, even though he had never done that before. Well, shit. I just told strangers a secret. Are you still strangers? It's been over an hour. At least I didn't involve you, right? I kept my promise. Did you want to get involved more? It's not too late to get involved. No, maybe I won't put Amos in the puzzle. Crossouts, see? Now, a great 3-letter R word is run. Now, it shows up a lot, but it's better than crosswordese because there are so many different ways you can clue it directly, like move fast, sprint, streak, or move more indirect, seek office, manage, campaign, or like in baseball, reward for going home, diamond score, or with a misdirect, hose wrecker, like in pantyhose, or bleed, or shout in a disaster movie, bolt, head for the hills, escape, like the bus station, another Easter eggs for everyone, escape. Oh my God. I need to run is not enough. It's not clear. Screw oblique. Put the eggs right in the damn basket. Poke. She needs to know about love is square. I'm mad is now. I'm sad. Okay. Oh, sorry. I just thought of another one. Game show entry. Gossip columnist motto. Anything goes to press. Okay. Hot temper. Wow, it's kind of eerie how well that one fits there, isn't it? Okay, I shot is now I pray you get this message. It's bad, it's so bad. And okay, an extra cheater because why not? And don't forget the equal and opposite cheater. Cheater. Easter eggs for everyone. Okay, Bray is bad Scottish crosswordese, but who the hell cares? And bays, we are not your bays. She's not a bitch. Slight change. New perspective. Hitch. Clue. Unforeseen problem. Bitch shouldn't be in there even when a puzzle is an actual escape and not just one that you have with a bagel. What else? Adolf has no business in a puzzle. I should have never left that in just because I didn't want to start over. But your bag of tricks. Barf. Okay, what else? Okay, get out now. That's pretty clear, right? Yeah, and you are not a stud. No, okay, I done you wrong. You will hog all the famous Amos cookies and not let me have any because you are an a-hole. Fuck, die, a-hole, fuck the breakfast test. Oh God, I should never let someone fill in their puzzle first, and I will tell you I could beat him every damn Sunday with my eyes closed. Well, that was a lot worse than a dorky dad dance. That was not professional. I bragged about Sharpie, and now I've got so many crossouts here that it looks more like black squares, more excuses that I put there myself because committed to ink, to permanence. If you want your money back, I understand. I have no confidence. If I did, I would have called her 6 months ago and been like, is he there? I would have realized that if she's dumb, I'm dumber. I never would have ended up black-eyed in a bus station making myself sick on famous Amos cookies. What goes around comes around. All I can say is, at least crossouts mean you're trying a different answer. But I should call her to see if she got back. No, confidence. I'm going to invite her for coffee to go over the puzzle, explain the entries. Yeah. I should go now. I left an empty corner. I think that's okay because you know how to fill it now. Try it. I hope you don't end up with a corner that won't fill, the kind where no matter how hard you try, you end up with crap fill, and try justifying to yourself that one crappy word isn't going to ruin the whole puzzle, even when you know Will Shortz will tell you it does. Listen to your inner Will Shortz. Rip apart the entire grid and start over. I hate that I told you that puzzle analogy earlier about him fitting and everything else filling in. It hardly ever works like that. I love crossword puzzles, and that analogy should be sacred and reserved for somebody who deserves it. I can reuse it, right? I'm going to. I'm taking it back. I'm taking my puzzles back. Give that corner a try. Then write clues until you're done and give it a title. I'm going to change this one to Esmeranda's Gift. Yeah. I like double meanings. Yeah. That's not really her name. Her real name is Pretty. Are you ready to go home and make a puzzle? I hope you give it a try, because I'm just, I'm gonna call her, okay? Thank you for coming.
All right, all right. Can you hear me? Oh my God, there's so many of us. Oh, there we are. I got to get rid of one of you because it's.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's bring on Donna Hoke, who wrote the play.
Hi.
Hello, Donna.
Hi.
So congratulations, that was terrific.
Yeah, that was great.
I can't believe we did it. We started 2 weeks ago. And just for everyone out there who doesn't know or understand how complicated this puzzle is and what Gretchen was able to do over the past 2 weeks and trying to, because that was, I mean, that's the tricky part about this play, is that you have to tell the story, but also you have to construct the puzzle and tell your story through the puzzle. So talk a little bit about, I know this is just a workshop, this is a reading, and what that was like trying to, because it's not just like a regular, your brain has to work in two different ways, right? Your brain has to be, okay, I got to learn do my lines and the acting beats, but then I have to construct this puzzle. And me and you were both sort of like, I mean, I learned so much from Donna, who's an actual creates puzzles. We both learned from all this because I mean, I didn't know half the stuff that's in this. What was it like, sort of, like trying to have both your brains sort of process that?
It was definitely a challenge. I remember day one when I got the script, the first thing I was thinking was, oh my God, how am I going to fill this in and not mess it up? And, you know, it was a lot of, like I said in the play, you know, it was a lot of trial and error. And, you know, by the end of it, it becomes very routine. And after practicing for hours, like I have a bunch of little mini puzzles that I practiced on over and over again. And, you know, just doing it over and over again, definitely you get into the rhythm. But there were moments, you know, when one brain would kind of take over the other one and I would get a little lost. But I think that was part of the fun of it. You know, it's something I've obviously never done before. So yeah, it's kind of like a new skill. I don't know.
Well, Donna, talk a little bit about you know, you're a cruciverb, I can't even say the word, cruciverbalist, but like, so explain a little bit how it's what you do. I mean, you're a playwright, but you also construct crossword puzzles, and what led you to create a play about crossword?
It was actually Stuart Meltzer, who's the artistic director at Zoetic Stage in Miami. I was staying at their house, and I was actually headed to the airport, and he's like, you know, you really need to do something with that crossword puzzle thing. Like, I don't think there are any playwrights who make crossword puzzles. You need to do something with that. So I kind of filed it and thought about it here and there. But then when the pandemic hit and I thought solo shows are going to be the thing people are looking for, I'm like, it's time to force myself to finish it. Because I knew it would be hard. I knew it would be hard to have to make the puzzle and work backwards and make, you know, and And it was, but I really, I had the time and the motivation. So,
how long did it take you to write the play?
I don't know. I mean, because I had like maybe the first three to four pages that I had started like 3 years ago. And then I kind of had to make the puzzle and like kind of work back and forth so that the words would like make a story. So it's hard to say. I don't know.
Yeah, I love the parallel between the story that you create. Because, when I told you I was really into puzzles probably about 10 or 15 years ago, I used to do them every day. And I love the stories that they told. And also the inside jokes, like the, there was a week where the tsetse it's a African fly, tsetse fly.
Oh yeah.
And I kept going, damn you, is it really tsetse again? Like,
and sometimes just one, like half a fly or something.
Yeah, like it's like, okay, I know, okay, all right, you're doing this again. Like it's funny, like you almost see the personality in the puzzle maker.
Yeah.
In a weird sort of way. And I didn't realize how much of that.
They do. The puzzles do have personalities. Like you see, like, I mean, I look at the byline and I'm like, oh, a such and such puzzle. And, I'll be excited because it's that constructor.
Yeah. And I didn't know that this actually happens, that you can actually do this for, for birthdays and anniversaries. But do you do Valentine's Day puzzles?
No, mostly birthdays. Occasionally the wedding proposal. Sometimes an anniversary. One couple did them for wedding favors. I had one that I did for wedding favors, which, then I tried to make them like easy because like you never knew who was getting them.
Uh-oh. Did we lose? Oh, there you are. You sort of went away for a sec.
Oh.
Right.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, you're back. Okay. Yeah, I thought, and it's such a cool gift. I thought about that. So I may be hitting you up for may purchase one. So Jen, you're getting a puzzle for Valentine's Day.
Now I like really want to try to make one.
Yeah, me too. Now I know all the rules.
Right?
Yeah. I know all the rules. Got to put some unches in there.
Yeah.
So Gretchen, well, obviously this is a play that we would prefer to do in front of a live audience. What's it like doing some? And we've done this before. You and I did one about a month or 5 weeks ago. What's it like, sort of performing for stream, like doing it this way when you're not getting the laughs, you're not getting the reactions that you normally would? I mean, it's got to be frustrating because you almost feel like you're on your own little bubble, right?
Yeah, definitely. Since the pandemic hit, this has been the way that it is. And in our home, we've been very blessed to have the opportunity to do these stream performances. But like you said, not having that audience reaction and that energy from an audience is really challenging, but it builds your skills as an actor because you can't rely on that. You have to rely on your scene partners. And well, I didn't necessarily have a scene partner in this. It makes those every word and punctuation and shift in the script all that much more important because you have to make it abundantly clear, like what you're trying to do and what you're trying to say, because it has to translate through a phone, a tiny little phone screen.
I know.
But I mean, it's also I found that my nerves were a little less. Not really sure why. I don't know. I guess maybe it's been a year of doing this now in whatever way and seeing, my fiance Brendan do it as well a bunch of times. It's like I know people keep saying the new normal and that's so annoying, but like it is. And the more you do, I guess, the more you get used to it. I don't know.
Well, we got to do something. I mean, that's the thing is we have to continue to do things. And by the way, if anyone has any out there, I know we have some people that are still watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will ask questions to Donna and Gretchen and myself. So feel free to put them in the chat. We got people who have said some really nice things for us, which is great. It's always great to see people say nice things about our show. And we thank you so much for doing so. I did a one-man show once. I did a one-man musical, which was a whole other thing.
Oh, wow.
But what is it like doing because there's this thing where you have you rely on your scene partner, and if something happens, like, the other person like, you're on your own, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, there's no one else to help you. Like, what is it like to be a one-man show, one-person show?
Yeah, it's scary a little bit, because like you said, there's nobody else to save you if you screw up. There's no one else's energy to like feed off of and build off of. So, but it's thrilling because, like she says in the script, like, you have all the power and you have like complete control over what's happening, which is really, really thrilling. But it also makes you, especially over Zoom, makes you picture, your audience. So in this circumstance, like, I was picturing like I was doing a TED talk and there's like a whole auditorium full of people. And, especially with the audience interaction bits, like, you look for those reactions from the audience members to be like your scene partner or your other. And, the reactions might not always be what you expect, and maybe they're right on, but, yeah, but again, we didn't really have that here because we were on through a screen. But just having that image in mind of like who would be around me in this situation. So yeah.
We have our first question. How do you memorize all that? You want to explain? Do you have another? Because can we show the other camera to show your setup? Can we? Not this.
Hang on.
Can we bring the other camera up?
Yeah.
I think it's so fascinating to see this setup.
Okay, I just clicked the link on my other phone here. Let's get this in so people can see.
Oh, someone also asked, was this live or pre-recorded?
Live!
And it was absolutely live. We really thought it was important that we do it live. So yes, she did it all live tonight. We did have a recording just in case.
You never know with technology.
No, that's right. But let's here.
Okay.
Here's a rather.
Let me flip this. Oh, how do I flip this around?
I don't know.
Brendan, how do I flip this?
And big shout out to Brenda and Didio, who did such a great job as our sort of COVID tech specialist. Oh, she's gone. Oh, there we go. This is the setup, y'all. Look at this. We've got
this is the first time I'm seeing it too.
Look at that. Look at that. And
so to answer the question, how did you memorize all that? I didn't. If we were doing a staged version, I would have, but I've got 2 locations for the script. One is right behind the camera right here. And then for the parts when I kind of had to move really fast and be also working on the puzzle at the same time, I have this set up here with some of those lines, as well as my cheat sheet in case I forget where something's supposed to go.
I am so impressed. This is the first time I'm seeing this. This is so cool.
Our kitchen has been a mess for 2 weeks.
That's amazing. And you also have your dog, who was such a good girl.
She was such a good girl, our little Ophelia. We had to put her in her crate so she wouldn't be running around looking to play. But she didn't bark.
We had to put her down.
Oh my God.
We had to put her down for the reading.
But she didn't bark. Hallelujah.
So anyone? This is just a great. I don't know how the hour flew by. I was absorbed. I really liked the positioning of the big reveal so close to the end, and it was effective. It didn't leave too much time to be uncomfortable. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what's it like, Donna, for the development of plays and musicals? It takes years sometimes. And by the way, if anyone has questions, please put them in the chat. We'll for our group. One thing maybe we should ask. Is there anything, Donna, you want to ask the audience that maybe they can respond to?
I would love to ask, was there a good balance of puzzle making to story? Like, my daughter was watching next to me and she's like, it's so cool, like, to learn how to make the puzzle. I was like, that's good, because I don't want people to be bored by that stuff. I would also like to know, like, at any point, did you start to suspect where it was going, or what were you thinking about the main character? Those would be good questions, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was one of our biggest challenges, is not to give away, part of all of our jobs is to make sure that because I think when an audience gets ahead of something, it sort of robs them of the experience because they're anticipating because they know where it's going to go. And part of our balance was trying to layer in the subtext, and then to hide then once we talked about the subtext and all the great sort of clues that Donna's put in the script, then we covered it all up. It's almost like, I always feel like, you dig a hole and you look at you put everything in the hole, and then you cover it up with dirt. And then maybe some things might pop up to the dirt, but it's better that when you've covered it all up and the reveal comes out, which I thought Gretchen did a really good job navigating that, because if you don't have an actress who can really handle that, I think it would have given it away.
I guess the subsequent question is that if you didn't suspect where it was going, once it happened, did you go, oh yeah, I should have seen that? Like all the clues were there.
Let me see. I'm not getting any. I got it. Was. Let me see what I say. It was a perfect blend of puzzle learning and drama. They didn't suspect. Great balance. Construction of the puzzle itself was really captivating. It was fun for an audience member to just figure out what the words go in what space. It definitely kept me focused to the whole piece. My friend Josie, who is from Buffalo. Stephen, do you know Josie, Donna?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Josie says, yes, great conjunction of puzzle making integrated with story. Did not expect she'd go there. She knew he was not the best boyfriend ever, but he didn't see him beating coming. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Good. Thanks, Josie. And didn't see how she'd react to the revelation of how oppressed she was. Yeah, I think that was part of it, is having this sort of, we really wanted to make, part of the thing we talked about, which I thought was interesting, is how we turned, let me fix this. There we go. Is how we turned Esmeranda into the bad guy and him into the good guy. And then it flips. My favorite line of the whole play is when she says she's not a bitch. She had, yeah. What's it like workshopping? Like, I think this was the question I was getting at earlier, is, it takes a long time for these plays to get developed. And what's it like to be able to, this was the first time that this play was you heard it out loud, first time that we've worked on it. And what's it like to go through a process like this? And how helpful was it?
It's always really helpful. And most often you don't get 2 weeks like we had with this, which that alone was incredible, because we really rehearsed enough and went over the script enough to find places that needed to be reworked. But I also knew that the puzzle part of it would be really tricky for whoever. And so if it was a typical 5 hours and then a reading development, we wouldn't even be able to delve into that at all. And I knew that it was an important part of the play. Like, how is it going to work? How is it going to work when the actress is trying to fill those things in and say the lines at the same time? And so all of that, in addition to just the digging into the text, was wonderful.
Oh, good. And what was it like for you, Gretchen?
I love the New Works Festival. I did it with Red House last year in Bislin and Bly. And like I said in that talk back as well, it's just a one-of-a-kind experience to be given a piece of text that's never been produced before and be able to develop it on your own. Like, there's no YouTube clip or Netflix movie you can watch of the show, how it was done originally. Like, this is the original, kind of. So getting to work with the playwright and an amazing director as well, and just working together to find what works, what doesn't work, what can be expanded, what needs to be made smaller. It's just, there's so many things, and it's just such a fun process.
Yeah, I think the scary part, you're right, because like if you're doing Guys and Dolls, there's like a road map that you're sort of going through, or any Mammoth play, or that's been done 100,000 times. But to really work on a new piece from the very beginning that hadn't even had enough, it was as exciting that it's like you're doing this for the first time and sort of learning. And I will say, I part of we talked about being bored by the crossword puzzle stuff. That was what intrigued me, actually. So when I read it, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I had no clue,
Haha.
Right. But I think that's what, I might watch this if it didn't have all the other drama. I might watch this on YouTube of someone, telling me how to construct a puzzle. Like I could totally see that on YouTube.
I love Pete's comment about the words in black spaces becoming characters in a way. That's
what
awesome.
did he say? I can't see the chat. Can you read it to us?
Pete says the words in black spaces became the characters in a way, which I think is
that's
awesome.
Cool.
Well, I mean, like I said, there's so much. I think you've layered. If you go through the script, there's so many clues in the script. In the same way, there's clues in a crossword puzzle. Like it's the construction of the play itself is very similar to the construction of a crossword puzzle, which I think is so what makes this play, I think, really, really interesting. Another, I really enjoyed the inside world, info puzzle world. I love crosswords and didn't know all that lingo in puzzle culture.
Cool.
Was there anything else that you wanted to ask our audience?
I don't know. Is there something I should ask that I'm not thinking of? Like what we talked about?
No.
No, I mean those were my biggest concerns. Like, did it go too much down the rabbit hole of crossword making? To, especially like, I don't know if there's anybody who's watching who has never done a crossword puzzle. If there is, speak up. I would love to know how you reacted to having all that stuff. Did it make any sense?
Yeah, is there anyone out there who's never done a crossword who knows nothing about crossword puzzles? Would be great to hear your comments. And is there anyone out there who does crossword puzzles all the time? And please give us a little shout out, a little chat. We'd love to hear from both of you.
Yeah, just because this piece is totally, in development. So you're the first audience for it. So any comments you have are valuable.
There were two of us watching, one puzzle doer and one non, and we both were equally intrigued.
Awesome. Great. That's cool.
That's good. So I actually thought, part of, developing new theater, obviously in the pandemic and in the new world that's happening is, finding things like this, which I think is, we have to ease our way back into obviously doing bigger productions. But what I thought was kind of fascinating is I actually thought this in a way worked really, and I thought it worked really well in this, doing it like this. It's something that I felt, and you don't really know sometimes if things are gonna translate as well. Obviously, having it in front of an audience would be so great because you could talk to them, have conversations with them, and they can have give you constant feedback. But what is your hope that like for the future, like that we take from what we've learned over the past year? Because is there anything that you think that will, like, for example, do you think this could be a rehearsal process using Zoom? Because it takes the three of us, you're in Buffalo, you're in Syracuse, I'm in New York City, so we're all in three different places, but it allows us to sort of rehearse. Because I think the rehearsal process itself, we could rehearse on Zoom and then get together and do it.
From talking to playwrights, that has been the overwhelming thing that people love. They think as a development tool, it's amazing because you can put together people from everywhere. All of the development opportunities, that we're flying to, it's great to be in the room, but like so much more can be offered in terms of development when we can do it this way. That I think is the big takeaway.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Gretchen?
I think it's really useful in that, sometimes you get a lot of distractions, when you're in a big rehearsal space with tons of people, or, you're already planning ahead for, okay, this is how the set's going to be. And there's so much going on in everybody's mind, but this kind of like tunnel visions you, and, it's you and the script. And especially for plays, I think that it could be incredibly useful, especially for working on the script.
Yeah, I think table work. I think it's helpful. Because I agree with you. There was something that focuses you and allows us to. I don't like if you spent a week doing this and then a week on our feet and then a week in tech. Like that would be a good rehearsal process. At least maybe one good thing has come out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, and what is it you miss the most about the theater or performing live?
The community of actors, of directors, of technicians, of audience members. Just, in a rehearsal process, and being in the space, you interact with so many people who are all there because they just love theater. You know, you're surrounded by people who are passionate about this thing, and it fills you up when you are in that community. So I'm definitely missing that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I live with somebody who is also a theater person, which is great. But yeah, definitely miss the community.
Yeah.
I would say the same. It's like, it's, you know, my whole social life. It's all my travel. It's, you know, it's everything that I do. So it's like, you know, you're not going anywhere. Where do I have to go? The theater bar is closed. The theaters are closed. I'm not flying to theaters to work on plays. Like, so.
Yeah, I said this to Jen the other night. You know, it's I miss the travel. Like I would, there was something like, you know, like Jen would be doing a show in like Houston, and then I would like fly to Houston and see her, and I'm like, oh, I'm in Houston, and I don't get to spend time in Houston, or
right,
you know, you're in Sacramento, or I don't know, like I miss the travel and working at different theaters, and I miss the definitely miss the community. I miss being in a room. I remember we were doing the fundraiser for Red House back in the fall, and we finished the fundraiser, and me and the tech staff, it was like Tony Vidala and Catherine Fakar was our intern, and Shane Patterson, and we just sat around and talked for like an hour after, and I missed that. I missed the sort of the collaboration, and then having the just chatting in a group.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question comes in. Does this feel more like putting on theater or acting for screen, or somewhere in between?
Question, Angelo. For me personally, it definitely feels more like acting for the camera. You know, you have to know what your angle is. You have to know what whatever your box is. You know, you have to figure out your eye line with the camera and the lights, and definitely feels much more like acting for the screen, which is not something that like I ever really did until now, unless, you know, randomly sending in like a taped audition. But even that is so like, hi, my name is Gretchen Martino, and this is like totally different, and yeah, very, very different from, you know, being on stage and putting on a play.
Yeah, it is very different, but it's, you know, I think I've talked about this a lot. Like when you're doing a theater piece, like in a lot of television shows, like it's all talking like this, and it's like, hello, you know, how are you? I'm on NCIS. You know, it's that kind of intimacy.
Yeah.
But for a play, for us to understand how this play works, it needs to be a bit more theatrical.
Yes.
So we have to. It's that hybrid of we're not doing a TV show. We're taping a theatrical performance. So we have to have room for us to be a bit theatrical, which I thought you navigated pretty well. You know, you didn't. No, I mean, it could be, like I said, if you went in for television, they probably like, oh, you know, talk like this, and you know, they say on sets that you can barely hear anyone talk because everyone's just talking really soft. But you have to have the.
I would not do well there. I'm much too loud.
Let's see what else. I love crossword puzzles. And knew that from the title, but I would love this play. So, is there a definition for OZS? Looks like 4 or 5 down.
Yeah, it's the abbreviation for ounces.
Wow, see?
Genius.
The eye movement to the script worked better. It looked like she was reading the chat in the Zoom meeting.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
good.
Great.
Yeah,
that was something we played around with a lot.
Yeah, we worked with eye line.
Yeah, I also like that earlier comment about it being about women sticking together, which we talked about in rehearsal. I don't know where that went. That it was ultimately about girl power instead of the usual trope of girls fighting over a guy. And we talked about that, like being the ultimate.
Yeah, it's this.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, that she helps her. She doesn't, you know, she's going to help her at the end, even though she did what she did, you know, and realizing that, you know, he's the enemy here, you know, he's the bad guy. Well, great. I mean, thanks so much for being a part of this and doing this. This was an absolutely fantastic process. And we thank you, Gretchen, for all your hard work. You know, we do this for so little money, and we work. I mean, no, and not just here, but just actors are always underpaid. Always, always, always. No matter if it's here or as far. I mean, on Broadway, I knew actors who had to get a second job on Broadway sometimes because they couldn't afford. So, just thank you for all the extra time, you and Brendan both, because I know again, putting on theater is it's hard these days, and we really appreciate all your hard work. And Donna, thank you for a terrific play and for.
Thank you for choosing it and
say,
giving me this opportunity. Yeah.
Well, the opportunity, definitely.
So grateful.
Hope this play has a long, long life.
Me too.
And I think it will. So, and this is the launching point. And so, just know that Gretchen, you know, with this whole experience, we so thankful for you and for Brendan and for Donna for being a part of it. So, we thank you.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, I just want to, before we go, I just want to say that some things that are coming up. Obviously, so we get some exciting things at Red House, and one is Black History Reading Series that Tamar Underwood is putting together, and it's some great plays. The Piano Lesson, The Mountaintop, which we were supposed to do this year until the coronavirus sort of hit, and A Raisin in the Sun, and some great directors. Cassie Melendez Ramirez, who is a terrific director, and my friend Lakeisha Green, who's doing The Piano Lesson, and these are wonderful, wonderful plays, and I hope that everyone can tune in to see them. And just you can pre-register. There, let me get rid of the banner here so you can see. All right, there you go. You pre-register to receive a link to all scheduled readings at theredhouse.org. And, you know, just because I just want to say something about, now I know how to get rid of it. There, boom. I just want to say that I'm so excited that Tamar Underwood is doing this and taking over some of the artistic responsibilities at Red House. He's a terrific, terrific director, a terrific performer, and a terrific person. And I couldn't be happier for him. And I think he's the perfect person to sort of head some of the artistic things that are sort of coming up while we're in this unprecedented time right now. So that being said, please come back tomorrow when you can and see Repair of the World, which is directed by Tamar and stars John Bixler. And this was another show that I chose. I chose two shows for the New Works Festival this year, and I chose Repair of the World, and I chose Esmeranda's Gift, and they're both terrific plays. That is also a one-person play, and please come check it out. And again, it's being directed by Tamar Underwood, who is a fantastic and up-and-coming director. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and please support the theater. Please do whatever you can. All these theaters are struggling, and they're having a hard time, and we need your support. So please support the Red House and all the theaters in our community, wherever you are. Thanks so much, and have a great night.